Hey, welcome to the first ever Worship Wednesday. I got two of my friends here, and we're going to introduce ourselves, and you'll get to know a little bit about us. And that's actually what this is for, to get to know a little bit about our worship team, why it is that we do this thing. Why? I mean, we come in on Wednesdays and we rehearse, and then we get up really early on Sunday. Is it just to sing and show our voices off and show how artistic we are? Or is there a deeper meaning? And hopefully we get to find a little bit out that today and the weeks to come as you get to meet different members of the team. And so to my right is a young man named Holden, and he'll introduce himself here in a moment. And to my left is Cherith. And both of these individuals do some phenomenal things within our church that's even beyond the singing part that's behind the scenes in some regard. And but obviously you get to see them on stage, but we wanted you to know who they are. So without any further ado, did I say the right?
Yeah, close enough.
Further ado?
You're close enough.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right. So at any rate, is my guy. Introduce yourself and tell me a little about yourself.
Will do. I'm Holden Gajewski. We've been coming here for just about 3 weeks, less than how long Chip's been here. So whatever that equates to.
I met you it was weird, right?
Yeah.
It was after a worship set, and I come off the stage, and I always just like to go up to the foyer. This particular time, I go up to the foyer, and there's this young man holding his baby, and I just love seeing fathers, love on their kids, and so we just.
I mean, we've got Lucas to thank for the friendship that we have now.
Lucas is like
he's your best buddy. Yeah. Yeah. So, but we've been coming here for about 3.5 years, and been playing guitar since I was about 13, singing since I was about, I guess, 13-ish as well. But I played the violin since I was 4, and worship has just been instilled in my family and in my life since I was a kid. So it's been a part of you for a while. What's your favorite worship song? Favorite worship song right now? It's kind of a revolving door. There's never been one favorite worship song, but
I know what you mean.
Right now, it's "So Will I." Just the bridge gets to me every single time.
I know you got it.
If the stars were made to worship, so will I.
I like putting people on the spot.
I know.
Let me do it.
So, but it's just been a good reminder for me. Like, actually, the past 2 weeks, my one word that's been just resonating in my mind is unashamed. Not that I've ever really been ashamed of being a believer, but I was having lunch with a client a couple weeks ago, and I just said, "Hey, can I pray for lunch?" And just being okay with that. Like, he's my savior, he's my Jesus, and not being ashamed of that. No, we prayed. Yeah. And I invited him to come. So,
all right.
We'll see.
Pretty cool.
Yeah.
Well, let's meet a young lady to the left and tell them who you are and your favorite worship song too. And I'll give you a head start. You can sing it once you tell us.
Okay.
My microphone just wants to do a follow the leader thing. But keep going.
Just wants you to hold on to it. That's all. Wants to be so close to you.
Wants a little love.
Yeah. I'm Cherith Harber, and I've been coming here for, I think it's over 2 years now. Time is something happened last year and I forgot everything. But yeah, my family loves coming here. We love Blackhawk, and right now my favorite worship song is probably Graves in the Gardens.
What part?
The whole bridge. You turn shame into glory, you turn seas into highways. There's nothing our God can't do and won't do for us.
Why do you have that raincoat on?
My friend Chip gave it to me as a gift, and I just don't want to take it off right now.
So you got to tell people why the raincoat, though, like what the raincoat's about. Do you know what the raincoat's about?
No.
What? It's the rescue mission.
Oh, that's right. We actually got some raincoats for that. Oh, my husband got the raincoats. He's the saint in the family.
But, it is still April, and they are still taking them. So even though we're done with what we're doing here, people can certainly still take advantage of that, right?
Of course. Cool. Always.
How do we meet? You guys were what? Leaving?
Yeah, we were out on the playground. The kids wanted to play on the preschool playground, so we just went out there after service one Sunday, and Chip, being who he is, saw some unfamiliar faces and came up and started talking to us straight away. And Linda Pearson, who we know, came right up to us as well and said, "Hey, I've been meaning to introduce you two to each other. This is Cherith. Cherith is Chip. Cherith sings. Wanting to get you guys together." And then she walked away. And
she's a connector that way.
Yes, she's great. So yeah, I wasn't going to tell you that. I wasn't going to tell you that.
That was not where the conversation was going. I was met with a kid who just met me with his head and just
If you ever meet my son Henry, be ready for him to love you really hard and painfully.
Well, while you're talking about your family, and you alluded to yours as well, tell us about your family and all that good stuff. So you've mentioned Thomas. We've now
my husband Thomas. We've been married for almost 15 years. This year will be 15. And my youngest is Henry, and he's 4, and he is something else. He's great. He's wild. And we love him. And I have an 8-year-old son, Harrison, and he's definitely a thinker. He actually likes to tinker as well. He's a builder. And my oldest is Violet. She's going on 11 next month. And yeah, she's a mini me in so many ways.
Oh, that's good to know. Violet's my homie. Well, all of them are really. So
yeah, she won't talk to you. She's super shy, but then at home she'll talk about you.
Yeah.
When can we go visit Chip again? And can you take me up to that high up stage and show me around up there, Mom?
That's still my girl. She just smiles, or she'll give me a fist bump, and then she's on her way. So, and your family, talk a little bit about the crew. We've mentioned Lucas, and who else is in there?
So Gabi and I have been married almost 5 years.
Okay.
And then so Lucas is 3, and Logan is 1. And I guess we've got dogs a part of our family too. They're part of the family at least. But
so the young Gajewski family.
Yeah, that's right. That's right. Cool. So,
well, so you guys are both on the worship team, even after meeting me, and that's a miracle within itself.
We weren't allowed to leave.
This is true. But why? Why worship? Why are you involved? And either one of you can just jump in on that. But why worship? Why are you involved in this?
Cherith?
I think I said this once before, but music touches people in places that, in ways that just other things can't. And for me, music definitely, it reaches a spot where I become, I don't know, I would say just completely. I'm not good with words, but I don't want to say like surrendered, because sometimes my heart's not surrendered, but just it brings me to a place where I'm fully focused on the Lord, and I hear from him when we're in just doing worship music together. And it's definitely a way of communion with the Lord that is special. And I believe that he created music for us to have this special connection with him, and it still does, and that's why we still do it. Yeah. Getting your emotions together with your mind, your heart, your body, your soul, all of that comes together in worship.
I think for me, it kind of goes to, so will I. The stars were made to worship, so will I. And just wanting to take that, bull by the horns and just go after it. I grew up with one specific type of worship that I was accustomed to. And so then when I got to be a part of the praise team here, I got to learn a different way to worship. And I think we've talked about, all three of us, the number of times that we've had different opinions on the exact same song or the exact same verse, just based off of what we know and what we're comfortable with, but then being able to pull from each other to say, hey, how does this sound?
Yeah.
And so, the Bible tells us that we need to praise him and cry out to him. Yeah. And so, just like Cherith said, that is how I connect with, Jesus and God so much, is just through the worship. Is, it doesn't really matter to me if we're standing out in the congregation singing, or if we're standing, up on stage singing.
Parking lot.
Exactly. When in a parking lot in a parking garage downtown Fort Wayne singing, it
sometimes that's even better.
It has happened before. Yeah. But it just being willing to be unashamed. I don't know, just that feeling of I told Gabi, I went back and listened to our Easter service, and I told her when I got home that day, I was like, I let out a yell that I wasn't sure where it came from, but it came flying out of me in the middle of worship that I can only describe as just being a part of worship. Yeah. It was just, it was what it was. In
reference to that, I mean, like, and guys understand when we talk about worship, we know that it's well beyond just the music part of it. This is just an outcome, an outflow of what's in us, the God that lives in us. But we get to express that musically. And so when we're saying worship, we know that is not all-encompassing worship. Just want to make that clear. But from the music standpoint, it is something that does tug on both the logical, right? Because we want to be singing the word of God, and the emotional, right? And so I've heard people say it's brought me to tears. Well, it didn't bring you to tears logically, right? It brought you to tears because there is an emotion that's connected to it. And when those two are married together well, because what we try to do is this pointing us to Christ? Is this something that as we listen to later, or we're rehearsing the words in our mind, is it something that's going to continue to impact our lives throughout the week, to give us the boost that we may need on a Wednesday because we thought of what was sung on Sunday? That's our goal, to help people continue to press through that week, press through that month, that year, whatever it is, because of a song that God has given us. So,
and that's, I think, just part of, especially, I mean, obviously the three of us up here, but just our praise team in general has been like, we've got, I think, 3 different types of group messages going between Facebook and texting and emails. And every once in a while, there's just a random thing that gets put out there from somebody, just to help lift others up. And so even, I've been in a high point in my relationship with Jesus for quite a few months right now, and it's been such a good feeling, and not that I don't expect to stay in this position, but I know that there are always going to be a low point that follows that at some point. And so to have believers and family around me, because that's what we are, we're family. I mean, but to have everybody around us to be able to say, hey, remember this from Sunday, or hey, think about this week as you guys are praising Jesus, that's huge.
Well, you two are both strong leaders on our team and just lead in different capacities. So I just want you to talk a little bit about that, your area of leadership, what it is that you do, and how's it been since you've been involved in that?
Yeah. I've been placed in the youth group worship leader position. So it's student ministry now. So that's true. I keep
so students are high school, youth is our junior high, and so on and so forth. So.
I mean, it's just titles at this point, So no, the student ministry, worship pastor, worship leader, I guess you could say. But the goal, obviously, is to be able to grow the musicians and the vocalists that we have within the church, within the student ministries, to then be able to come do this with us on Sundays. And so my mindset has changed a little bit over the past year as to what that's going to look like, because obviously last year is what it is. But the focus for this upcoming year, for this year right now, has been much more of, let's grow in our talents, let's grow in our abilities, let's take some pride and ownership in what we're doing, so that then we can bring that to a Sunday morning and continue to worship once we get out of high school, because it does end at some point from high school. So
gotcha.
That's kind of what we've been doing on the student ministry side.
Phenomenal.
Yeah, I love that. I think I do a lot of behind the scenes stuff, just helping people be prepared for rehearsal and for Sunday mornings. But I also really care about just the connection that our team has, and just really concerned that people feel loved and known, and that they know each other. Like we said, we're a family. Our team is a family of sorts, and we depend on each other more than I think sometimes we realize. And I mean, I've been encouraged and lifted up by every single person on our team at one point or another.
Definitely.
Even with just the small amount of time that we spend together, like these people are genuine and really care and want to know that they're cared for as well. So, yeah, I spent some time doing that.
That's awesome.
So just to even give some more meat to that, so Cherith really just make sure our team is put together, but devotions on Wednesday, she always chooses the person to do that. And she started a prayer thing that, people the teams are praying for each other. And so just pretty phenomenal. And then watching the young people that, like, we have a young man right now playing the keys that's been in the ministry over here. So again, creating those systems so that this can be a long-standing process for us as a church. And guess what? Some of the kids may grow up to lead worship somewhere else and pastor somewhere else, and we get to be a part of that journey for and with them. And so, again, this is beyond a worship service, a worship song, but it is a way of life. And so thank you for joining us on Worship Wednesday. I do want you to know that there will be a link to the set list for this week. There's also a link to all the songs that we do, period. So if you want to have that, you can definitely press the link. There's an Apple link, there is a YouTube link, there is a Spotify link. All three of those will play all of the music and or the set list for this week. Thank you for joining us.